Hi. Hello, everyone. Let's see. Okay, got my setup a little different. My hair's a little big today, but that's all right. Welcome, everyone. How's everyone doing this week? Sorry, missed you last week. Still reeling from a weird sinus thing going on. So if I sound a little funny or if I snort, can't help it. Hope everyone's been having a good couple weeks. Hope you had a fabulous Thanksgiving. I'm adjusting. There we go. We sure did. We hung out with the fam, and that's always fun. So yeah. So let's see. Got everyone joining on. That's great. Well, today, we've done this before, but we've done it with IQ Designer, and we've made ornaments before. It's a really simple technique, but there are other ways to do it, especially if you have baby lock machines. And the one thing I forgot to check is to see, hey Ronnie, to see if the Verve could do this. I can't remember if it has the function in there, but I know that pretty much all the rest of the baby lock machines should have this function. The Brother machines should have this function too. And if you do not own that brand, you can always use embroidery software. We talk about this a lot, just because I do something on here, you can get around it. There are ways to get around it, but think of this as more of a technique video if you don't have the actual, the machine to do this. Think of this as, how would I use these certain materials? So you can always learn something, right? Well, if you're new to the group, I've had a ton of new members, and I thank you for that. That was mostly from Sandra Shaw, who is a gem, and we all love her. She mentioned our group on one of her webinars, and the next day I had tons of new members, and I really appreciate you all being here. So she has got Hoop Fun Club, she's got Surge Fun Club with Lori Hernandez, she's got Embroidery Shop, she's got Beyond the Brain. Beyond the Brain. I'm actually studying the brain right now, so I can't get it out of my head. Beyond the Frame, which is free for everybody, not just certain machine owners. It's free for everyone. So make sure to check her out, and definitely thank her for that. So I know there's a lot of new members. My name is Anna, and I am a National Baby Lock Educator. I am here to teach and inspire. And although you may not have the machines that we use, think of this as, again, as technique. If we're embroidering something, we're sewing something. I do mostly embroidery, but if we're embroidering something, maybe you can learn some new techniques from that. So I love teaching. It's my gig. It's my thing. So hello. And it's hot in here. Let me get my little fan. Oh my gosh, y'all got to get these. I don't know the name. Oh, wait. Beskar. I ordered 3 of them. One for work, one for where I'm studying, and one for the room. Amazon, the big A. These were really cheap. It's amazing. And it has lots of speeds. See my wind blowing in the air. Okay. So it's a little warm in here because I think Jason was cold earlier. So I'm going to set this guy right here where I can, sorry, And if you're new to the group, I digress a lot. I have, swear I have ADD. Okay, so let me kind of show you what we're doing. Now, this is very kind of basic and you can do with it whatever you want. Now, I just used a name in this little ornament. You could use a design, you can use whatever you want. Now, I'll show you the versions that we're going to work on today. And then we need a fireplace here, not a fan. Send it down here. It's hot. So this is my version of what we're making today. Now, it's very, very simple. And this is about technique, but you could take different designs. But this, of course, I use the built-in shapes or frames that are built into the machine and built-in lettering, and just created this quick little ornament. You can make this small, make these big, you can make this really small. There's different shapes for name tags. So think about putting cute little name tags on Christmas presents or something like that. Now, if you have IQ Designer, I will go through that process too. I have a full extensive video on that. You'll just have to go back through the list and find it, but I have a full extensive video on the IQ Designer / my design center way of doing them. And these are the ones that I have from that. And these are all built-in designs. So here was one that we did, and I added some Swarovskis to it. So what is the difference between this one and this one? The shape. So in shapes or in frames, we only have certain shapes, right? But with IQ Designer or My Design Center, we can create an exact outline to follow the shape of the design, right? That's why we love it so much. Now, can you do this in some software? I'm sure you can. I do know you can do it in Palette software. So if you've got that, Palette 11. So there's that. Now on the back of this one, I did use like some Deco Magic or something to give it some stability. You can use that if you want. For today's purpose, I just used 2 pieces of faux leather, and they come in an array of different colors. I know you can get them on Zandra's either embroider shop or I don't know. I think it's embroider shop. You can order. She has tons of colors of this. So that's one. This would be a cute little gift for a wedding to put on and I've got a wedding coming up. My baby girl's getting married, but Micah's getting married. That's my youngest niece. So I've got a lot of stuff to do for that. How about making your friends some little ornaments? So you can, this is what I was talking about, getting a design. And embroider shop is right. Thanks, Diane. This again is using the outline function in the machines that have the IQ or My Design Center ability. Again, all the rest of these are going to be that. But I wanted to make sure that those of you who don't have that can still make cute little stuff, right? So think about this as what design you can put in there. This one's really pretty, although it's red. But I do love poinsettias. And what I did with this, and now think outside the box. Do you see a little shimmer in those poinsettia leaves? That's taking Mylar and laying it down right before you embroider and then ripping it away. So that's just Mylar. And if you're not sure what Mylar is, I can grab some out here. I've been using it for years. I just stick it under stuff. Even if the design doesn't call for it, it adds a little bit of shimmer, especially this doesn't show, you know, unless it doesn't show it a lot, but if you were right next to it, you'd be like, that is so cool. I know Kimberbell uses it a lot in their projects and their me time projects. I showed you that one. Another thing is maybe backpack tags. So here's a cute little one. Here's an actual built-in ornament that is built into the Solaris. Isn't that cute? Ah. Oh, making the shoes, Cindy. I've made a pair. They don't have my size, but I made a pair, and I'm like, those are so cute. The hardest part is this hand sewing, and this design is on the Meridian. It's our baby llama drama. So, and then, oh, I have one more. I have this giant snowflake that I made. And you can see up at the top, I'm using these little rivets, and I'm going to show you how to put those in too. So there's going to be, I'm going to show you a lot of techniques today. So not only are we going to make this, I'm going to talk about how I put in rivets, because I have these cool little doodads that do it for us, and they're free. Hey, Ashley, I'm about to talk about you. So, hey, so make sure that you watch the whole video. Now, again, like I said, this can be very plain like this one, but just wait. We can put different designs in there. And again, I think my favorite one is the one from IQ Designer, and I'll walk through this one. Is this little snowflake. Now, Jason told me this year I can get a new Christmas tree because we're going to put one on. We have a Florida room. We're going to put my white Christmas tree that I've had for years out there, and I'm going to get a big fluffy one. And so my Christmas tree that's going to be out on the porch or the Florida room. Here's the thing. My Christmas trees have always looked like Dr. Seuss threw up on them. So I love color. I love sprinkle lights. I like everything, but I've never done my own pretty traditional. So y'all tell me if this would be so cute. How about a big fluffy Christmas tree with nothing but gold and rose gold? Wouldn't that be gorgeous? And maybe some other colors thrown in there. So if I could get some rose gold of this, I can start making our ornaments out of it. Wouldn't that be pretty? I'm so excited. Two favorite colors, gold and rose gold. So if I get some rose gold, I can make a bunch of these little snowflakes. And then wouldn't that be pretty, and get some little, so I can get out my rhinestone setter too that I have and show you guys how to do that. Does it sound pretty? I'm so excited. And Hobby Lobby has all this stuff for me. I don't know if y'all went to Hobby Lobby last weekend where it was the 60% off. It was a nightmare, but I had to go for the office because we're decorating the office. But they had all those colors, and that's when I fell in love. And I was like, oh, when I knew Crystal, Jason's like, okay, well, go for it. And I'm like, yeah. So, okay, so quickly before we move on, though, I want to talk about something that one of the other Baby Lock educators is doing right now for Black Friday. And if you don't know who Ashley Leinhart is, you have to go check out her page, Dogwood Trail Quilting. Also, she is on the, let me get this right, the Baby Lock Community Long Arm Community group. And she and Denise do a lot of the training on there. And so she does a lot of long arming and just quilting in general. She does embroidery, she does everything. So, but she just recently started up her own fabric business. So, I like to make sure that everybody, supports small local business or small business, right, as we talk about right now. She is having a Black Friday sale through, I think it's Tuesday. Thank you, Baby Lock Long Arm Quilting Community. Thank you. She is having a Black Friday sale on her beautiful fabrics through Tuesday. Ashley, I think I'm right, Tuesday midnight. And if you can place your web address in the comments, but I'm going to show everybody. I've already got it pulled up, and I'll show you what I just recently ordered. It's so pretty. Okay, so let's go take a look at her page real quick, because she has some gorgeous stuff. Is this it? Is this it? Maybe here. Nope, that's the wrong one. So let's try it again. Which one am I on? This is what confuses me. Zoom has changed things, so let me close that out. Are we still recording? Okay. I thought it said it. Okay, I think we're still recording. I thought it said it just clocked me out of there. Okay, here we go. Here it is. I found it. Okay. Sorry. I thought I ended our session, guys. Yes, through Tuesday at midnight, use the code Black Friday 25 for 25% off of all fabrics. Okay, so here is her gorgeous site. By the way, her site is beautiful. I was picking and pulling through it earlier, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But she has all the fabrics that really call to me. They're very sweet, beautiful colors. And so she offers fabric, of course, and we'll look at that in a second. But she also offers quilt services, which means you can send her your quilt and she'll quilt it for you. And what's really great about Ashley's site is she gives you all the information, pricing, and everything up front. Now she's about to get one of mine. She's going to be quilting something special for someone who's having a wedding, and hopefully she doesn't hear me very soon. And so I'm so excited and be sending that off to her this week. But also, let's take a look at the fabric she has. Now, this new ballerina fusion right here, I just saw that she posted this. It's so pretty, but it's really easy to navigate. So up here, she has her pre-cuts, and then she has her collections. And she's always adding new collections on that I've been watching, and she's just really got some gorgeous fabrics. Now, the one that I just ordered, y'all, was this willow right here. I just ordered a bunch of yardage of this. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh. These colors. And my favorite is this one with the little castle in the back. So make sure she has amazing prices, but you're also going to be able to use the code Black Friday 25. It's right at the top for 25% off all in stock fabrics through the 29th, which is Tuesday through midnight. So I want you to make sure that you support her. Remember, when we're supporting small businesses, we're helping this sewing community along. So, and Ashley will be happy to answer any questions you have. Just send her an email or a message. There she is. Look how cute she is, guys. She's like the cutest thing ever, and her dog is amazing. That is such the cutest picture ever. So make sure that y'all go ahead and check that out. Okay, so let's get back to it. Here we go. But I wanted to make sure that I gave a shout out to Ashley. Now, what are we going to need for this project? Well, if you're making these, you can do it kind of a few different ways. It's really up to you. And I kind of left you a little post earlier about what you would need. For the ones that we made a long time ago, we used a faux leather on the front, and we used something that's like a deco magic. That's funny. You're funny, Ashley. No, you're worth. Hey, I'm here to support. So, girl, please. On the back of this, I use something that's like, I think it's called Deco Magic, which is this nice stiff material that stitches through beautifully. And you can always get that at your local quilt shop or, somewhere like that. Or you can just use 2 pieces of faux leather. And if you've never used faux leather before, it's really, really cool. It might be called something else too, or there's also marine vinyl and stuff like this, but I like the faux leather because it has like a nice soft backing on it, but it embroiders beautifully. And you can get it by the roll. You can get it in sheets. I didn't even know I had this till I went digging today. I must have ordered this, but look how much of this. I don't know how much is in here, but there is a ton. I ordered a bunch of this, but I've got a ton of other colors to stitch on. It's beautiful, and you can really do a lot with it. So people probably make bags and stuff like that out of it. But as an embroiderer, I'm going to try to stitch anything I can on anything I can that doesn't move. So the other thing that you'll need is a 4x4 hoop. And just to make things easy, I'm just using the Stick Tearaway. That's the Baby Lock version of a sticky tearaway. I've already removed the top carrier sheet so you can see that it sticks. in my hand. And we just use this when we don't really want to hoop anything, or if we're hooping the unhoopable. And if I were to hoop a piece of this, it's going to leave hoop burn like crazy, even though we're going to be cutting away a lot of it. But if you were doing a big piece, you wouldn't want to hoop this. The other thing is you wouldn't want to put a basting stitch, because the basting stitches, you're going to be able to see the needle marks still. So something for something like this type of material, I suggest using a sticky tearaway. Hooping the unhoopable basically means, you know, like your thick, heavy terry towels. You can't try to hoop one of those. What happens? The hoop pops right back out. So I always use a sticky material, be it sticky wash away or a sticky tearaway. I'm a sticky tearaway girl, even for towels. Yes, I am. But I like, if I can, you know, Baby Lock makes one that it's not a sticky tearaway, so I use my spray. But it is a 50-50. And what that means is that 50% of the fibers stay in and 50% of the fibers wash away. Really cool stuff. That's like one of my favorite for towels. One of my friends who does towels, she uses a sticky wash away because she likes her stabilizer to all wash away. So it just really depends on what you want. It's really up to you. And I am going to just double check. Make sure there's no questions. Looking good. Okay, good. So this is going to be one of the easiest things that you see me do. When we go over to the machine, we're going to be using everything on the embroidery side of the machine. So those of you who have IQ Designer, at this point in time, we're not using IQ Designer. We're going to be using our frames feature. And like I said, a lot of Baby Lock machines have this feature. So that means that a lot of people can do this project. So I'm going to switch the camera over. Where's that? Going to switch the camera over, and we're going to build our design. Now it's really quick, and then we're going to stitch it out, and I'm going to show you how I finished it up. And then after that, if some of you want to hang around, I'll show you how to do the IQ version of that. Okay, here we go. Why do I always do this? There we go, found it. There she is. Okay, yes, I am working on the Solaris just because I have her all set up and ready to go. This is Sunny, if you've never met her. And I do have the Solaris that is upgraded with the upgrade 3 or the Vision, which is amazing. A lot of fun stuff. Now, do you need that to make this project? Heck no. If your machine has this little section that I'm going to point out to you, you're going to be able to do that. So I am using a mouse, so you won't see my fingers in the way, but you can kind of see the project right here in this. Oh, we're a little cockeyed, aren't we? Sorry, that drives me insane. That's a little better. Okay. All right, so you can kind of see what I've got going on right here, but I'm actually going to go home. Because what I want to do, no matter which machine you're in, you're going to have pretty much the same button, and it's going to look similar or the same. So to create that little shape and to put a design or your name or whatever you want in there, we're just going to go to embroidery. Now, if you have an older machine that has embroidery and then embroidery edit, I always tell people to always use embroidery edit. And that means that anything you're going to be able to do is editable. So I always select embroidery edit if your machine says that. But I'm going to select embroidery. And the first thing that I'm going to look for, that is bright. There we go. Oh, that's okay. The first thing that I'm going to look for is in my embroidery file area. I'm going to look for an icon that has a square with little cheeky cheeks all the way around it and a heart. Those are your frames. Now, if you took the Baby Lock Flare class with me, you know, we use that to actually make, let me grab them. And this may be something I may be able to do again But I use this for a class, so I don't know if I can teach this in my class yet. But we actually use those frames to make mug rugs. We made the whole thing. That is terrible. I'll show you all later. But we made the whole mug rug just by using our frame shapes. It is so easy. We didn't have to buy a design to make the mug rugs. We designed them ourselves. So what we want to select is you want to go ahead and tap on that icon. And what you'll notice is that you have a ton of shapes built in. So mine just show up like this. So I have circles, I have squares, diamonds, I have ovals, which would be really pretty. I have a heart, which hearts are one of my favorite things ever. I even have like a stop sign, not quite a hexy, rectangles, shields, rectangles. So there's all kinds of different shapes to play with. Now, when we think of a frame, we're thinking about, okay, I can put something down, I can put a word down, and I can just put a frame on it and stitch it out. No, use these to create your own creation. So I'm going to select the circle. And if you have a machine that has little arrows that kind of goes through these, you'll want to toggle over until you find, I think all of them should be about the same number, 010, which is 10. And all that is just a regular stitch line in a circle. So I'm going to tap that and then I'll hit set. And you'll see it come right in the center of your screen. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change the size of this. So I want to come up to my edit key, wherever your edit key is, or if it says size somewhere on your screen. And mine has it right here. And I'm going to change the size. And remember, we want to proportionally change it larger. So we want to use the key that is the square with all 4 arrows going outwards. And for this one, I did about 350. I think I'm gonna do it a little smaller, maybe. Oh, whoa, that was huge. Maybe 325. And that's really up to you, whatever size you want to do. Okay, 327, whatever. So I'm gonna remember that number. Either I can remember it, or after I push OK to get out of this, I could save it to memory if I wanted to, if I'm gonna be making these over and over again. But I'm fine with that. Now, what if I create it? Let me walk you through the step. What I'm going to first do is I am going to take, before I stitch out anything, I'm going to take my piece of faux leather and stick it directly onto my stabilizer like this, and I'll place it in the machine. So the first stitch I want to be is the tack down that tacks this to the stabilizer. So that's what I've just created right there with that circle. Now we got to think in layers. So when you're creating anything in the hoop, anything like that, you got to think in layers. So we've got our tack down. Would we want our back piece to be tacked on next? No, because if we did, when we put our name on there, we'd be able to see it through the back side. We don't want that. So this is where you want to bring in your design. Now, can it be a Santa Claus? Sure, if you can find one small enough. Can it be one of the built-in designs? Absolutely. Can it be a name? Sure, it can be anything you want. So I am going to put a name in here. So I'm just going to select add down at the bottom, and let me return. So whenever you see the add key, what that means is that you can combine designs. So we're going to select add. And if I wanted to go through these designs, I could and find the perfect little guy to go in there. I could do that. Or I can just go to my fonts. One of my favorite fonts is this number 17. It's so sweet. So I'm going to tap on that. And if you're on a Baby Lock or Brother, this is how this works. So you want to start with the first letter. So let's say if we put Jason's name in there. So I'm going to go to J. Then if I wanted this is the large. And let's zoom in a little bit. So you can kind of see. So that's the large side. If I needed that to be smaller, down here at the bottom, I have LMS. So that means large, medium, see it got smaller there, or small. So I can make tiny letters or large letters. But I'm going to leave it large. And yes, I'm going to put his whole name in there, but there's a way to shrink it down to fit in. So I'm not too concerned about it. So I've got my J. And going back to that, you have to do it on the very first letter. Otherwise, it won't work if you needed it to be smaller. Okay, so I'm going to go to A-S-O-N. Oh, I made a mistake. Easy to fix. I can just go delete. I'm faster than the machine. So we can see that that's way bigger than my circle. No worries. I can fix that here in just a moment. So I'm going to select set. I'm going to come back up to my edit. Now, if you are on a different machine, you may have like a little section that says size. So that's the only place I'm going. And I'm going to use my proportionally smaller keys to bring that down. And my proportionally larger. And I'm going to get it to where I think looks good. I can always zoom in. I love using my zoom, guys. I can really see. I'm not, this girl needs some new glasses. So it's really nice to be able to zoom in. There we go. That's perfect. Now I'm not going to get too far over because I don't want to interfere with what's going to happen on the side. Because you can use any stitch you want. But for this one, I just used a traditional satin stitch. And I'll show you what I mean is you can use any stitch you want here in just a few moments. All right, so I'm going to select OK. Now, what I want to do is bring another circle in, right? And remember, my size is 327. There are multiple ways of doing this. Now, if I had saved that to memory like a good girl, then I could just pull it up from memory and then place that circle on top. But I have to make things hard on myself, so I'm going to go to Add. I'm going to go back to my shapes, hit 010 again, Set, and then Edit and change that one to the same size. So that was 3.27. And what is this key, or what is this one for? So after I have my tack down stitch and it stitches out Jason's name, I'm then going to take the hoop off, not the stuff out of the hoop off, flip it over, take my back piece with my pretty side up, tape that, and what's going to happen now is that second circle is going to tack my back piece on. Now I need to do one more thing. I need to add my finishing stitch. So we can think of this kind of like an applique. We've got a tack down, or we kind of got a placement, we kind of got a tack down, and now we need our finishing stitch right here. So let's do that. So I'm going to go to Add, and I'm going to go back to my frames, and mine lands on the circles. Now I have all these choices now. I can have it, this one is kind of stitches 3 little lines. I can do a satin. I can do kind of a cool satin. I can do a sunshiny, a flower, a multicolor. This one looks like Christmas. No, this one looks like Christmas lights. This has a lace. This looks like a rope. This looks like blanket stitching. So you have your choice. Just for today's purpose, though, I'm just going to select the satin stitch and I'm going to set. And then, I'm going to go and change the side. And I'm going to get it, about the same size. See if we can get it right over top of those two. So I'm going to zoom in, and it may not be exactly 3.27. It may be a little bit bigger. So, because you see with this, it's going to 3.25, so we need to go just a hair bigger. And there we go. Now I see that visually my Jason might run in, it may not run into it, but it might be off a little bit. So I have a little bit of room over here. So I'm going to use my select key to get the red box around the letters. And I'm just going to take my move key and just move him over a hair. Now he's visually centered for me. And guess what? It's done. That's it. That's all you got to do. And what you could do is you can save this to memory, already have this prepared, and just erase the name and bring back a new name. Now, if you don't have the, what you will have to do is skip through stitches to stitch the name before it comes to these last two stitches. You can do it that way. But if you're on a Solaris, you don't have to do that because you have a way to manipulate that. Sorry. Okay, so super easy. And let me check to see if there's any comments. Okay, all right. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do now is just stitch it out. So it's super easy. What I do want to have is, do I have my tape? I do want some embroidery tape around me. And personally, I really like the, I either like the Kimberbell or the R&K, but I think I am almost out of my R&K pink tape. And I just had it. So we might be using the Kimberbell to hold on to that. So let's kind of flip it on over. I'm going to take it to embroidery. And now it's ready to stitch out. Now, even though it's all one color on the screen, we have not linked them together, so it will stop in between each stitch. And let me do something here. I'm just going to change the way that the screen looks real quick. So if you get dizzy, you may want to close your eyes here for just a second. There we go. So keep closing them. Am I upside down? I am. Here we go. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to change that lighting because it is glaring off of that gold. So it's going to look a little dark over here. No worries. Okay, so I do have my thread in, and I do have a black bobbin. I'm using black thread, and I've got black bottom line thread in because that's the only black I had, but it works beautifully. I'm also using a 90 needle. And why am I using a 90? Well, I'm going through thickness, and I'm really weird about my needles. So when I'm doing an in the hoop project, I always use a 90 because we're going to be going through thickness. So I would consider this an in the hoop project. And the material is a little thicker than regular cotton or linen. So I'm going to be adding layers. So I'm going to have this layer, my stabilizer, and a back layer. So I always use a 90. There's no one told me to do that. It's just something that I do. Oh, got to get that out. So you want to place your piece of whatever you're using on top. Now, I did say earlier in the when I put up a post that you could use a cotton fabric, but you want to fuse a fusible interfacing on the back because that's going to add body to the fabric. Otherwise, you're going to get puckery. All right, so here we go. So the first stitch is just going to be that outline stitch to tack down the stabilizer, excuse me, the whatever the stuff is called, to the stabilizer. The next stitch, it'll stop. The next stitch will be Jason's name. So let's get his name stitched on there. And Ashley, thank you for your comment. That was so sweet. And I love you too, girl. We are here for each other. Excuse me if I'm sniffling. I'm going to unplug myself for just a moment so I can breathe. Ah, found it. How much I have left? Hey, Birdie. Welcome. Now we're getting there. Not taking long at all. Looking good, looking pretty. Now, again, these would be really cute, smaller as name tags for gifts, or really whatever you want to do with them. Just take any of these ideas and make them your own. Just use the technique or kind of use the technique. Use the technique just a little bit and make something. You guys are so creative. I see your stuff posted all the time because I like when y'all post stuff. And y'all are super creative. So I love that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is remove the hoop. I am not removing this out of the hoop. If you're new to this type of thing, whatever you do, do not remove this out of the hoop. I'm also not trimming. We'll trim later. So I'm going to flip this over to the back of the hoop. I'm going to take my other piece, and I'm going to put the wrong side down. That's very important. And then I'm going to take my tape, and I cut my tape versus tear it, and there's a reason for that. You want nice clean edges. If you tear it, sometimes what happens is those little bitty raw edges get caught and start pulling on the bed of the machine, and things happen. Weird things happen when that happens. So let's place this down and smooth it down good. I always get the edges, make sure the edges are down. That's very important. And there we go. And now I'm going to flip it back over. Now, the cool thing about this tape is it is reusable depending on what you stitch it on. So the next stitch is going to attach the two together. Or the three, really, because we got stabilizer in there. And the last stitch is just going to be that satin stitch. So we're going to let that stitch out, and then we're done, and we're going to take it over, and I'm going to show you how to install the little rivet thing, whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. And trim it, because it's really up to you how you want to trim it. Now, if you wanted this free floating, if you didn't want anything outside the edge, I think it looks really cute with things hanging outside the edge. I'm kind of a raw edge girl anyways. You could have cut those at that point after the second tack down. And again, that's really up to you. It's your baby. You do what you want with it. The only thing that you can't do with this satin stitch really is change the actual width of it or the density. So you're kind of stuck with the width and everything, which is fine. I mean, it's not a big deal. So if you're going to cut them close, if you're going to cut this before the satin stitch, then you want to get super close. Because if not, you'll have bad pokies. The other thing that you could do is take a piece of vinyl, clear vinyl, and lay it on top, which would be really cute. You could add some little sparkles in there before it seals up. And that would be adorable. It'd almost be like a little snow globe. And I've seen that often. I was going to do it, but I know it's out there. That I think Xandra shows you. I know Melinda Bigley shows you how to do that. So you can always go to their pages. So Bless Embroidery for Melinda Bigley, and Sandra Shaw is going to be either Sew My Souls or Beyond the Frame Embroidery. She's got a couple different Facebook groups. All right, it's all done. See how fast that went? So now I'm going to switch you over and we're going to talk about how to finish this off. So let's get you over here. All right. So let me get myself untangled. Can you only change the width of the satin stitch in IQ? Pat, yes. And it's not even this satin stitch. It's a different satin stitch. So yes. So yeah. Okay. So here we are right here. So I've got everything. Make sure we can see that good. All right. So all I have to do now is pop this out of the hoop. So I always go from the back. That way I'm not pulling on anything. And now all I have to do, let's get this out of the way. And you see I have some cool little tools here. But the first thing I'm going to do is just trim, leaving about 1/8 of an inch or so from the outside. And these are Kai scissors. And so I say 1/8-ish, I don't know. Just whatever looks good to you. I'm getting pretty close here. What would be really pretty is if I had a pair of inking shears, which I can't seem to bring myself to buy. I can spend a lot of money on fabric, but for some reason, every time I go to buy a pair of inking shears, I'm like, they're that much. That's not terrible. So I'm just following the circle or the shape that you choose. The heart would be really cute. There we go. Stop talking for a second. There we go. Here. And then I have a couple little trims on the back right there, not even a couple, one. And there we go. Now, to put the rivet, or whatever it's called, I don't know what it's called. Let's see, it's these little guys right here. And I'm going to do a dark one. I have a dark one here. So, hopefully you can see that okay. Make sure you can see that. Oops. So basically what this is it's just got this little hole and then a little metal backing. And you can get these at any little place that sells them. Like I don't want to say the name. So what I'm going to do is kind of line this up on my board here. And I can see that this fits in between, well, let's see how big. So this one ends up being close to with my cutting about 3. So I'm going to center this. And I'm going to just take a pin. And I'm just going to make a dot wherever I want that little guy to go. So I'm going to say about right here. I don't want it too high up in the stitches. And I don't want it too low down here by the neck. So I'm going to say about right. Now what I have are these cool little tools. These are called crocodiles. So instead of crocodile, it's crop, CROPADILE. So this is the handheld one, and this is the monster. I love these. These are really cool. So what they do is, if I hope you can see that right here, I want you to look right where my finger is. Can you see that little guy going in there? That cuts the hole, and this little guy sets the rivet thing. So right here. So I'm just going to do this by hand. Now this one does the exact same thing. It's just, it's stationary, but I'm going to take this guy and I have to kind of see where I'm going to go right here. And I've got my little purple mark. So I'm going to slide this under, and I know you're not going to really be able to see what happens here, but because I've got to get it close to see, I'm going to line that up. Hopefully I get it just right. And I'm going to punch my hole. And look, there's my hole. How cool is that? Love it. I've been using these for years. Thanks, Hope Yoder. So right there is where now I'm going to place my little rivet. And again, this is called a crop a dial. And that may be off a little bit, but so I'm now going to place it in just like this. So you can see it sticking out the back. And this little guy right here will set it, will squish it down. So what I'm going to do is place it under there. And again, I know you can't see it very well, but I'm going to turn it here in just a second. Because I'm doing this all kind of, you can't tell, but I'm way off to the side-ish. Let me put my finger. So again, I'm going to try to get it in there. There we go. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's sitting right there, and I squish and it's done. Can you believe that? Look, it squishes it perfectly. And then all I have to do, now I saw one earlier and I was thinking about going to the store today, but I decided not to because I was being lazy. But you could take these cute little wooden beads and place them on here, or you would thread it in first and take some cute little wooden beads and place it along here, and that would be so cute. And then I'm just going to tie it to wherever I want, and that is super quick and easy. Done. Cut. Ta-da. So yeah, I mean, easy. How adorable. So let's go back over here and untangle myself. They're called grommets. Okay. Eyelets. Grommets, eyelets. What do I keep calling them? I don't remember. I think they are these are eyelets. Now that I come to think about it. Yeah, these are eyelets. I keep calling them what? Those little metal things that go in here. Yeah, that one's off a little. Jason doesn't care. He loves me no matter how off I am, which is a lot. So again, here's a little bit bigger size, which I like the smaller size better, actually. So yeah, super quick, super easy. Again, you can use them as name tags. You can use them as ornaments. They're going to be beautiful if you put a design in here and stitch that out, and then give it as a little gift or hang them. Let the kids help you. Let them, maybe make name tags for their class or, something like that. It's super easy. And really, this stuff isn't very expensive. So you really could have a lot of fun with it. Yay! All right. So there's that now. Now let me go over how to do it in IQ Designer like this. Now I have an extensive video on this. So you'll just have to go back through the video list. And I think it was closer to the beginning of the list. So you'll just look for them. But let's do one like this. And yeah, so super easy. So let's go back. I'm gonna have to come back here. No, that's not what I want to do. If you get dizzy, close your eyes, because I am going to, whoa, see, I keep messing this up. 1 second. We're live TV. Okay, so this is going to be flipping here in just a second. So I want y'all to just hang on just a moment. I'm going to turn this way. I wish I knew how to do things seamlessly. I am just not good at this. There we go. There she is. I just find that it's easier to film it this way. Okay. All right. So if you have IQ Designer, if you have My Design Center, this is how you're going to make something like this. Okay, so let's first go here and let's clear it out. The very first thing that we have to do here is select a design. And this is going to be a few different steps, okay? So this is going to take a little bit longer than what we just did. So you want to select a design. It could be a pre-bought design. It can be a built-in design, whatever you want. So let's go to embroidery and actually let's find that snowflake. I'll show you something really cool. So I'm going to go in here to my holidays. And I'm going to scroll down. Oh, maybe, you know what? This isn't, okay. This, I think, was a Evie Hawkins design, if I remember correct. So that one. But if we wanted to use one of these snow, let's say this guy right here. He's huge, right? With IQ Designer or My Design Center, we have something built in that we can shrink these designs down 60%. So you want to go to your edit key and you want to go to size. And these two little guys right here, think of them as normal sizing and maybe like digitized sizing. So I want to select the one that has a little zigzag and it's going to say, is it okay? I'm going to say okay. And then I'm going to shrink it down and let it shrink down to where it wants to. So it shrunk down to 4 inches. That's as far as it'll go. If I were to do it the normal way, we can only shrink down 10%. But because we have this little icon right here, we can shrink down more. Because what happens is when we shrink something down, it takes away stitches. We want to take some of those stitches out so they don't stitch upon each other. So, okay, now this is going to be kind of a big one, but that's okay. So let's select okay. And if you change the size of anything, I'm going to need you to save it to memory right now. It's very important. All right. So if we wanted to make this similar to this little guy right here, all we're going to do is create an outline. And we're still in the edit. So we want to go to our little flower down here. This is your outline box. So let's click on that. And this is going to create an outline of the design. But we need this black outline to be kind of far away from it because we're going to make it into something. So let's play with the distance until I'm going to press and hold it until I'm happy with it. Because I'm creating an ornament. If that outline was just sitting right on top, I wouldn't have any room to do anything. But I still want the shape. There we go. That's looking good. It's going to be a big old ornament. There we go. To me, that looks about good. I'm going to be able to see my material under it. That looks really good. I'm happy with that. Now, what I want to do at this point is to select memory. Or it may say IQ down here, depending on, or My Design Center, depending on which machine you have. So it's going to tell me something. It's going to say, hey, Anna, recall this shape from IQ Designer stamp pattern list. And it's also showing me this little icon right here. I'm going to want to remember that icon when I get over to IQ. So I'm going to say, okay. At this point, we have saved this design. So we're going to go home and okay. This is where we get to play in IQ Designer. So we're going to go to IQ Designer and we're going to recall that shape up. So in order to recall, we want to use either the, you want to find the pocket with the arrow going out. That is your recall key. Oh, wait. Oh, you know what? I'm so wrong. Anna, I'm sorry. Where did it tell me to look? It did not tell me to use the recall key, right? What did it tell me? it told me to look in the shapes key. I do this all the guys, I teach this all the time and I can't remember. So we're going to go to our shapes key, which is the circle and square, and then we're going to go look for that same flower. There it is. There she is. There's my saved outline sheet right here. Now, what's going to happen when I select OK is you're not going to see the embroidery design. You're just going to see the shape. That's what we want. We saved that embroidery design for later. So just like the one that we made earlier, we're basically going to have a couple steps. We're going to have our tack down line that tacks down our material to our stabilizer. Then we're going to have our embroidery design stitch out. Then we'll have the tack down line that'll tack the backing piece to the bottom of our design. And then we'll have our finishing stitch. So for this one, we need to tell it what type of stitch to be, because right now it wants to be a zigzag and we need that to be a straight stitch. So we're going to go to our line properties, which is this grouping of 4 icons right up at the top. I always use the little piece of paper. I'm going to tell it to do a running stitch, which is this icon right here. And I always choose a color. It just helps me know that things got done. So let's say I'll do a blue, okay. And then I have to turn on my bucket. I'm going to take my finger and tap on that line. And it changes colors so I know that it worked. I'm then going to select the next. Now, this is just a stitch line. So I'm happy with that. This is just going to be my placement. My tack down. So I'm happy with it. Now what you could do is save this to memory right now. And if you're in memory right now at the stitch embroidery, the stitch edit screen, it'll save it in memory in IQ and on the embroidery side. So we're saving it right now, right here to the machine, and we're going to select set. And it's going to warn me, are you sure you want to go? Now, if you're on a Destiny or a Dream or a Meridian or Altair, you're going to have preview okay, set okay. There it is right there. Now we need to bring our design, our embroidery design. What is my size? I don't remember. That it was like around 4-ish. You know what? I may be way beyond your questions. Sorry. Have you seen the Mastering IQ book? Yeah, I wrote for it. So yeah, I don't know when they're releasing that. So, I'm not sure when they're going to be releasing that, but yes, I have. I wrote for it. So and it's going to be really, 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 really cool though. It's been a long time coming and it's been really fun to work on. Okay, so we're going to go to memory because we're going to recall that design that we saved. I just saved it. I just threw myself off. If you're new to the group, this happens all the time. Actually, what we want to do is select the add key and go to memory. Now you may have a machine, you may have a pocket. Mine's in the pocket. And there it is right there. That's the design. I want to pull that design up and set. And it falls directly where I want it to go. All right, so the next thing is I need to make that stitch that connects the back piece to the top piece. So super easy. Remember when we saved it earlier in IQ Designer? If you skip that step, you'll have to go back to IQ Designer and re-pull it back up. But if I go to add and go to save, or where my saved are, it's going to be right here. Or you could have saved it here. And it's going to drop it right on top. Now, here's the thing. Now we need a finishing stitch. And this is where we get to have a lot of fun because in IQ Designer, we can play with it. Now, I, again, am a girl. Where did I find my things? I am a girl that likes raw edges. I like just regular stitching. Or you can do, I'll show these up close better. The lighting's funny on this, but you can do handle wicking. You can do everything on here is just a plain stitch. Triple stitch, you can do satin stitch, whatever your little heart desires. But let's say we wanted to do a satin stitch, because there was a good question about it earlier. Can we change the size of the satin stitch in IQ Designer? Yes, you can. So we're going to go to add. This one has a little satin stitch. It's a baby satin stitch, which I thought was real pretty. And we're going to go to IQ Designer. And we're going to go recall that shape. I did end up saving it, so I can pull it out of here, or you can pull it back out of the outline page, which would be right here in your circle and square, flower, and it'll be right there. So let's recall it. And now let's change the line type. And what that means is I'm going to tell it what type of line to be. So I'm going to go to my line properties. And I have my choices here. Now, depending on which machine you will have different choices, right? So with the Solaris, I have a ton of choices. I have all these pretty ones. I can do custom ones from palette. I can do, and then from that is, you don't have this in the Meridian and Altair, but you do have the most used, which are your satin, your straight stitch, your triple stitch, your candle wicking. This little chain stitch is adorable. Your blanket stitch, and just this cute little V stitch is really pretty. But I'm going to use this zigzag or satin stitch. I'm going to change the color just so I can see it. I'm going to use my bucket and touch it. And then when I hit the next button, if you're on a Solaris, you'll be able to see real time what it looks like. If you're not on a Solaris, just to preview what that stitch is going to look like, you're going to hit preview OK, but don't hit set OK until you're happy with it. If you hit set OK, you're stuck with it. But if you hit preview OK and you're like, I want that to be a little thicker, then you hit return. But on the Solaris, it shows up real time. And what you'll notice on all of the machines is you'll have these two icons right here. Now there's a density, which you can change to like 110. You can only go up so much and go down so much, literally. So it'll make it a little bit thicker. And you can change the width of it. So if I wanted it to be super thick, watch what happens. Too thick. Or if I wanted it to be skinny, skinny, probably too skinny. So I'm going to just kind of go maybe about 0.100. Just to have enough to show. And then I'll hit set, OK, and there we go. Now, what you may want to do, because you're going to put a grommet in there, let me take a look at it here. Because you're going to put a grommet in there, what you could do, my video earlier shows you how to actually put in a little circle up here. What you could do is you could take the snowflake and move her down just a hair to give it a little bit of room for your grommet. And you can barely see her move. Now she's off a little bit. So I wouldn't suggest doing that. But you may have to, let's put her back. But if you watch my first video, it'll show you how to make an area for that little, I keep calling it a grommet. I don't know what I'm calling it. Eyelet grommet, whatever it is. So it'll show you how to do that. But in Gist, that's how you do it in IQ Designer. It's so easy, and you can make a ton of them, and super quickly too. You could line them up, take one of your large hoops and just bang them out. They'll be so fast. Put a big sheet of that vinyl down, or excuse me, not vinyl, a big sheet of that faux leather down, and just have them all stitch out. Then put a back sheet on there and then cut them all out and you're done. I mean, that would be so quick and so easy. So again, some of the ones that I've made previously, besides the Anna and Jason one, I lost them. Are they in here? Oh, no, they're in here. Besides the Anna adjacent ones, or however you want to make them. Again, my favorite little snow, I actually keep it hanging up because I love it so much. My little snowflake, and I just added in, I think, oh, you know what? I do have some iridescent mylar in there. And let me show you what that is, if you're unfamiliar with that. I think I have a piece right here because I got a Kimberbell me time kit. I think there's some in here because I'm going to be making the collectible village. So it's really sad because you get one a month and you don't get the whole village. I mean, you won't finish the whole village until next Christmas, but it's so cute. But let me show you what the mylar is. And I usually keep a bunch of this around. I just don't feel like digging it out, so I'll dig it out of here. So you've probably seen this out there. And if you take it and crumple it up and then lay it down before embroidery, it is so pretty. It gives it that real sparkle effect. So usually what I do, even if it tells me not to, or if it doesn't say to do it, I take it and I crumple it up and then spread it out, and it makes the coolest effect. So have fun with Mylar. Oh gosh, who you can get it almost anywhere. Kimberbell has it, but I mean, there's other brands that make it. It's been around for a long time. Let's see. So that one's my favorite. And again, you can do it for Friends Christmas. Friendsmas. I was about to say Friendsgiving, but that we've already had that one. Wedding gifts, kids, Christmas, wherever you want to put it. Again, Christmas. And this one is that one right there, but I think this is not as small as I got it. This may be about the same one. And again, this little guy right here. And I'm sure I have tons more because I've made a bunch. But you can use the balloons from Dollar Tree for Mylar. You can do that. Absolutely. So always thinking of ways that we can save money, right? And we knew that now. Okay, let's see. Supposed to be released in November. I honestly haven't heard anything about it. I mean, I've heard stuff about it, but I don't know when it's going to be released. So, what's your size? Yeah, it's about 4.6. Okay. All right. So, thank you all so much. There was something else. Oh, I wanted to show y'all I actually finished stuff. So, I finished my Me Time pillow. Isn't that pretty? So, this one's going to go sit somewhere, hopefully that no one else sits. So I put them together how I wanted, and I kind of love how it comes out. And I kind of love that these don't look like they end. They're open, and I just think it came out really cool. So I was very happy with that. Very pretty projects. And then also I got to take a class at Bernina Connection, my local quilt shop. And we did the Kimberbell, and I think I posted this. We did the Kimberbell stockings. He's so cute. And so this is Shannon Fabrics. I was like, I'm going to use the fluffiest stuff that I can see. You see how fluffy that is? Topper. Use a good topper. And I use pink felt, and I use felt here and felt here. Now, remember, I'm not a red girl, so I had to use pink. And I think I'm just going to make these for us this year. I have to make Jason one. I'll have him like a little teal hat. And Lacey, I'm not sure what color hat she'll have, but super cute. So make sure to check those out. I'm sure a lot of your local quilt shops or local sewing shops are having fun projects right now because it's Christmas time. So yeah, for something else. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, tomorrow I will be on, let me see if I can find it first and show you guys. So I'll be doing a 15-minute spot if you for Sewing Machines Plus. And I was trying to see if I can find the website, because they are doing a Just trying to see. They're doing a, what do you call it? A Black Friday webinar. Let's see if they have it showing up here. I was going to try to find a link for you guys, but I don't know. Events and classes? I don't know. Let's see. Aha. Okay, I'm going to put this up in the links here. And I will be going on at 8:15 or 8:30 Pacific time. Let's see if I can put this up for you guys. But there's going to be a lot of great things happening. So make sure to check that out. And let's see, I'll just place it right here on our regular page. Why can't I paste? Create a post. Okay. There we go. All right. So Linda Brattine will be on there. Barb Lewis will be on there. Our girl Paige, she'll be on there. So I posted it to the regular page. So there's going to be a lot of great demos happening. So make sure to check that out. But thank you all so much for joining in and watching. I hope you guys have a great week. Remember to check out Ashley's shop, Dogwood Trail Quilting. I think she put a link in there. If not, it's still on my page because through Tuesday, you get 25% off of fabric. Okay. All right. Have a good one, guys. Remember to shop local, shop small, and I'll see y'all next week. Have a great week. Bye, everybody. Always takes me forever to figure this out.